Hi, I'm Matt, here in Michigan.
And I'm Randle here in Texas. Today, Matt and I are doing a flashback movie review going all the way back to 2002 for Signs. Signs stars Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, and Abigail Breslin. It is written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, who's also well known for The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. And we're not going to talk about that other film.
My name is Ong. I don't do that. That's not what I'm like.
But before we get too far into this, if you like this sort of video and these flashback reviews, make sure to give it a like. Those likes really help us out. If you always want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified when we're releasing our news content, ring the bell icon.
Now, in Signs, a former priest who recently lost his faith due to his wife's death discovers crop signs in his cornfields. He, his children, and his brother soon realize that something much larger is happening when the signs suddenly appear all around the world. Signs had a $72 million budget and has earned more than $408 million. It has received average positive reviews from critics and audiences, just about average reviews. Critics were slightly more favorable with this film. Randall, I still like Signs, but I'll give you the crack at it. What do you think about Signs?
Full disclosure about Signs. I saw Signs 9 times in theaters. 9. Some of that could be that was about the same time that I was getting my license and it was just easier to go to the theaters. But regardless, I absolutely still like this film. I like the small comedic bits. I like the family bits. I like the story setup. I even, give it credit, massive credit, for its score. So many films nowadays, you don't even really recognize, there's a score going on. Yes, obviously. But in Signs, the score is right front and center. It's right in the opening credits. You start seeing it, and it really sets the tone. Yeah, I'm unapologetic about it. I definitely like this film. Matt, you already said you like it, but why?
It's a lot of what you hit on, and two favorite pieces of what you're talking about I really want to focus on, that humor. This movie has a really good sense of humor, but also has a lot of tension in it too. And I like that these two elements balance each other out good in this film. Everyone knows I'm not a real big, spoopy movie fan or whatever. I mean, I do enjoy watching them, but I'm not going out my way to watch spoopy movies. And this movie definitely brings some tension for me. There's something about, the idea of aliens and body snatchers almost kind of thing, or aliens could be just outside your door or whatever. That's always been something that spooked me a little bit. But this movie has such good humor in it throughout that it makes it such an enjoyable movie to watch. Those two elements together, that mix between humor and tension, that's what makes this an excellent film for me.
They're trying to sell sodas. It's plain and simple. I've been watching these reports since morning. I have seen 12 soda commercials so far. 12!
13! Plain and simple. Trying to sell soda. Yes, the movie has a very good sense of humor about it, and I find myself laughing at them, even though I know the jokes are coming, honestly. But, this movie's nothing without its core actors, and they all do a great job. Mel Gibson's own off-screen problems, of which there are many notwithstanding, in the confines of this character, of this, priest who's lost his faith, and he's lost his wife, and his family's all going through this rough time, just trying to find a way, just kind of being that everyday, father going through grief and trying to get their family through this situation. He knocks it out of the park, in all honesty. Without him, as that core, the rest of the performances don't necessarily work quite so well.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If these characters don't actually, if different actors, portraying these characters didn't do it as well, or I don't know if this movie, fully works. It's that timing and everything that these characters have with this. One scene in particular, you have Abigail Breslin's thing where, she's right in Mel Gibson's face and,
There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Different different scenes like that, and how they make everything like so good. Another one of our favorite ones. I mean, heck, we could just go on a lot of the jokes or whatever. When Joaquin Phoenix is talking about the 30-somethings, who can't get girlfriends, and that's why they come up with all this, scheme or whatever to get everyone on board. And, then for pause, you get Abigail Breslin. Randall, what does she say?
I can't think of girlfriend. But yes, the pause is perfect. It's so well edited. But you know what's great about that scene is if you watch that scene, you can see, Mel Gibson's character just like giving him daggers while he's looking at him like, don't tell them this, like stop what you're doing. But like, he's too polite to actually like say, stop. Yeah, there's a ton of scenes like that where the pacing is just so perfectly well done, and the roles were so perfectly well cast that it just works. It just works so well. The fact that this is just a riff on War of the Worlds, but it's told from such a perspective of of a family losing their faith, or at least the father losing their faith, that this is a way for God to like tell him, no, there is something for you to look into. It's not just another War of the Worlds film.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing where it's like the main idea of this, like, hey, are you one of these two people? Like, do you believe that everything is just happens by random circumstance and, sometimes you just get lucky? Or do you think, there's a reason that everything happens? And not just on like the religious sense of it, but also on kind of like a filmmaking sense. I like that idea. It's kind of like, nothing in this movie happens by accident. There is a reason for everything, even in this movie. And it's kind of interesting. Something I just noticed on this last viewing, even though, we've seen this movie tons of times, is at the beginning of the film when the dog like pees themselves or whatever. And, the kids are like, hey, we need to get the dog checked out and stuff. And Mel Gibson's character says, well, we'll talk to Dr. So-and-so. And the kid was like, well, he's not a vet. And Mel Gibson's like, well, he'll know what to do. Such a minor thing that really has like no impact or anything on the film. But later on in the film, I realized what the meaning of that was. And it's the fact that Mel Gibson is reluctant to call the vet to help with the dog because the vet is the person that killed his wife, which we don't get that reveal until Mel Gibson goes to the vet to look to, answer the call for I think was it Grady or Brady or whatever his name is, and we see the sign that, he's the veterinarian. So it's kind of interesting too that we have these little tidbits in the movie that have a meaning and stuff too, and that kind of goes on with that overall theme of, nothing happens by, circumstance or whatever. There's a meaning to everything.
Yeah, the script in this is so well thought out and so well done. That's just one example where passing lines that you're like, well, he'll know what to do. You don't think about it much until later. And then there's just stuff where, like, you just think it's just a weird character, but he ends up being right when, Joaquin goes into the recruiting place, and it's all exposition because it's all just there to define, like, his character being a kind of like a minor league star, but also like holding the minor league strike out record, not just home run record. But you have that really weird recruiting sergeant goes, I've got it figured.
It's called probing. It's a military procedure. You send out a reconnaissance group, very small, check things out. Not to engage, but to evaluate the situation, evaluate the level of danger, make sure things are all clear.
At first you just think, well, this guy's just woohoo, a little bit crazy in the membrane. But nope, that guy is completely right. That is exactly what's going on.
Yes, and that was the next scene I was thinking about exactly too, right on it, because they all changed like the mood. It's like we're like slowly zooming on him as he's telling the story, and the music, and we were talking about like the score and stuff. The music kind of makes it kind of like creepy and stuff. But then we just go to like Mero, who just kind of like shrugs it off, and like you said, kind of dictates how the audience feels. Like, dude, this guy's just crazy.
There's a lot of that in this film. Even with the small cast, it works itself and it weaves itself really good. This was back when M. Night Shyamalan was the next Steven Spielberg, well before We're not going to talk about that film.
No.
Not even going to say its name. When he was doing films like Unbreakable and everything, and it was like, oh, what's the twist? What's the twist? And this one obviously has its own twist. The signs and everything. We're not talking about crop signs. We're talking about other signs, but it's really good. Now, obviously, we can't talk about signs without talking about the legit, criticism of the movie. Why would an alien race that's deathly allergic to water invade a planet that's 3/4 water?
It's funny, like this exact same conversation is what I was having with our friend Zach and stuff last night. And he's like, no. That's not how you got to look at it, kind of thing. You got to look at, what these, aliens are, kind of thing. They are kind of like a desperate race or whatever come in here. And, that's the thing too. It's a play on like War of the Worlds. We already mentioned that this is kind of riffed on War of the Worlds. And War of the Worlds, they're like brought down by like a virus and stuff. It's the aliens not fully understanding the where they're at. They're alien. They aren't used to this planet or whatever. They're not going to know everything about this planet. But yes, water, whatever, it's going to water. I like to think that it's not actually water that it's their weakness, that it might be actually something in the water. Maybe it's the chemicals that we use to clean the water to get out. Though they're probably using like a well or something like that. Maybe the girl is right. Maybe the water is contaminated. Maybe it's dusty and stuff.
It has dust in it.
This one?
A hair.
This one?
Morgan took a sip and it has his amoebas in it.
It's all that fluoride in the water, Matt. The conspiracy theorists were right.
And that's the thing too. Maybe they just come out and get what they need and then go back to their ship so they don't, come in contact with water.
Now wait. Maybe it's a sign that we were supposed to put fluoride in our water, so that way when these aliens invaded, we would have a weapon against them. Huh? So the conspiracy theorists were wrong.
Here's another way to look at it too. Does it ever rain in the land of Oz? Like when Dorothy goes to Oz, does it ever rain? But what is the biggest like fall of the Wicked Witch? What is it? What could kill the Wicked Witch? No one ever talks about that, how that's so dumb or whatever.
She stays inside when it rains. Jeez. Okay. Clearly the thing about signs, though, is when you're talking about an alien species that's been able to master interstellar travel, you expect them to be a little bit more intelligent about things. But yeah, maybe they're on their last legs, like you were saying with Zach, and that's why they don't wear clothes. Maybe they don't need clothes anymore. Maybe they've evolved beyond clothes. They realize maybe it's a risk with our water, but at the same time, it's pointed out that they came here for us. Like they were basically, they're collecting us maybe as livestock or cattle or something like that. And yes, the water's a risk, but they're willing to take that risk because they're running out of food and they don't know the next planet they're going to come across where food will be ample in our supply.
Here's one thing I think that makes this a little bit more sense. It's kind of like a back idea. Is that in the original, the like writing, they weren't meant to be aliens anyways. They were meant to be demons. So if you take a look at that, and like I guess like the water, like I think it's Mel Gibson was a priest and he actually like blessed the water, and that's why the blessed water was supposed to hurt the demons that way. So I guess if you take a look at it from like that perspective, a lot of things make a lot more sense. But one thing I was getting at, I think not like how the alien looks and how it works or whatever that is like the downfall for me. For me, it's the idea that we see the aliens earlier and stuff. I would have liked the alien to have been more of like that mysterious entity or whatever. I would have liked if we didn't see maybe the alien until that last scene where, he's got, Mel Gibson's son and stuff in his arms and stuff. That's me personally, though.
Unacceptable, because if we didn't see the alien earlier, then we wouldn't get easily one of the funniest scenes in the entire film.
Move, children! Vamonos!
Move, children! Vamonos!
Which is so funny, because that is supposed to be such, like, an intense moment. And, I'm sure it is for a lot of people, but for some reason for us, we just find that scene hilarious.
Hey, that made me go look up what Vamonos meant. I was like, what's he saying? Nope, man. I'm sorry. Without that scene, the whole middle part of the film falls apart.
No, I like when we just have the different parts, like the limbs. You know, we see the leg in the cornfield, or we see like the arm coming out from under the thing. That's the stuff that I liked.
Up until that point, though, they're not really taking everything seriously. So Joaquin's character is trying to figure out whether or not he's going to take things like seriously, and the kids are reading their book, and Mel Gibson's character's off at the vet's house, and then he runs into the alien, goes, and he comes back, and it's after that scene, and they're all sitting there with their tinfoil hats on.
I saw one of them at Ray Reddy's house. I can't be sure, but I got the distinct feeling it wanted to harm me.
Nope, without that scene, it doesn't work. It's the linchpin.
What? I agree with how it's like structured and everything. That's the way to go. For me, I think the monster kind of has like a less impact. I think I have less fear of that monster and stuff at the end when we have this climactic scene or whatever when he's holding it. To me, it kind of took the weight out of that by having that scene earlier. But yes, there is a reason. Like I said, a big part of this, nothing happens really by chance in this movie. There's a reason for everything in this movie. So yeah, I see your point of view from there. I just would rather have just kept the alien until the end.
Save your budget. That CGI don't age too well. All in all, I don't care about the naysayers or the average reviews. I think this is one of M. Night's best films. It's everything in here is in here for a reason, and it works. Yeah, it's a riff on War of the Worlds, but it still works for me. I love the humor. I love the serious parts. Everything in this film is almost perfect for me.
Yeah, Randall, I'm right there with you. I really enjoy this film. I'll go out and say this is my favorite M. Night Shyamalan film. Is it the best? I would say The Sixth Sense is up there as maybe being his best. I don't know. That's up for debate. But this one is definitely my favorite for those same reasons. The humor, the tension, the way it's put together, the performances we get this. Top notch. I love this movie. I love Signs. Randall and I want to know what you guys think about Signs. Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out some of our other reviews. We have other flashback movie reviews, new movie reviews, take a look at TV shows, and we have deeper dive discussions.
We also have our Facebook page. Make sure to go check us out over there if you haven't already. We post the day before on Facebook what's going to be coming up next on YouTube. If you don't want to bother with Facebook, just put us on your schedules. Posting new videos every Monday and Thursday. For now, I'm Randall here in Texas. See everyone next time.
I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day, everyone. Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.